All right, let's go ahead and kick off. I'm gonna make it super easy for the first round, and you can go in whichever order you like. Can you give us your name, how long you've been in the business, your year-to-date volume, units, whatever metrics you want to share, and your favorite song? They were not prepared for this. Oh, no volunteers? Okay. Rochelle, you told me you could not wait to talk today, so go ahead. And feel free to use the mics, I turn them on for you.
Yeah.
My name is Rochelle Young. I celebrated 2 years this August. This year to date, I have 23 transactions under my belt and 9 million in sales. Favorite song, I actually have a favorite song, so share just a little bit. I have Exotic Hertz, and I have a song that I sing to my pot every day that is so I guess that's my favorite song. What was the other questions?
You answered them all. You're good. Well done. You really need to get up on this mic though, like you want to make out with it, like you really should have back in. Don't worry about COVID. There's a volume button on those two if you guys need to turn them up.
I'm Nate Brill, and we're at what's within the pipe and close. We're at just under 25 million so far for this year. Let's see, it'll be 10 years in March for me. And my favorite song is one that I think nobody in the world has ever heard of. It's called Fiddler on the Green. I have the album art on my arm. I love it. Nobody's ever heard of it.
What is it? Fiddler on the Green.
Fiddler on the Green. Yeah.
Not to be confused with Fiddler on the Roof.
It's an Icelandic metal song. So for what that's excellent.
Okay,
Yeah.
so that's our cell phone. It wasn't set up.
It's my turn. My name is Paul O'Connell. I just started 25 years ago. And still learning how to try to figure this thing out at the end of the day. I have a partner here. We have a team within Realty One Group. I'm also an associate broker. This year is still in progress. Last year, we clocked in at, I believe, 34 million with 94 transactions. So market is shifting, we're still pivoting. So on that basis, we're still trying to move this needle north. Favorite song? I would have helped. No. Which is the sentiment sometimes. Is sharing right now in the current market environment, but I'll circle back around. My playlist is too long and varied.
Okay, Paul.
Yeah.
Have the theme song and Animal House.
Help me out. Show. What
There you go. That's
Yeah, okay.
a little joke in the Glendale office with Paul and I with the movie Animal
Movie
House.
quotes.
It's like
That's our thing.
1970s,
Yeah.
so.
Hello, I'm his partner and I'm Lisa Volonsky. Do I have to make
If we don't see tongue, it's not worthwhile.
I've been doing this for 20 years and so everything he said. My favorite song was so weird because I had Bat Out of Hell came out of in my brain as soon as you said that, so I don't know.
My name is Charles Jones, been doing this for a little over 8 years. Have a small team. So far this year, we have 17 deals done a little over 6 million. Favorite song. The one that I don't know if it's actually my favorite, but All My Life by Casey and JoJo. Big into R&B and great stuff.
Everybody's like in the 2nd grade. Hold on, we're putting together some math on that one.
I'd like to add something for Charles, if I could. Charles won the award this year, and I think maybe he won it a couple years back for the 40 under 40.
Yeah.
Awesome, congratulations.
I guess we're up. Good morning. My name is Elias Black,
I'm Jeremy Rangle.
and we are Team Wrangle Black. I've been in the business for 8 years, Jeremy.
5 years.
And we typically trend around 33 to 35 transactions a year and around 15 million. With Dip right now, we're at 21 transactions, and we're trending closer to 10 million. Favorite song? For me, Good Feeling by Austin French.
Dirty by Christina Aguilera.
I love you, Jeremy. I love you. Oh, wait, sing it, hold on. Could you sing it?
We're married.
I
Do you want me to make out with him?
just want you to know that no one is questioning whose office you're out of right now. Questioning it. All right, so now we're gonna get into the heavy, the actual questions that you came here to answer on behalf of all of these lovely people who want you to instill your wisdom upon them. So I'll let JP go ahead and kick us off here.
Well, I thought you were going first, Leah, so I don't have my list up, but
I did go first.
I guess I was, right, the opening. Starting off now.
The fun.
Okay, so the first question is, have you made any adjustments to your business in 2023? So what is it that you're doing differently now, or what are you doing differently this year than perhaps you did in the past, whether that be as a result of any type of change in the market, or whether that be the result of a change in your goals? What are you doing differently this year that you didn't do last year?
All right, Jeremy, we're gonna start on your end this time.
Oh, is it on? Is it on? Hello? No, just kidding.
It might have to be turned up.
Oh, I don't know how to do that.
Well, that I don't know. They only show me how to turn it on. I only know how to turn things on.
The more you make out with.
Oh, there's that. That's a thing, that's a whole other thing. Oh, well. There you go.
Just get it on the head.
Never, okay. What was the question? No, what are we doing different? What are we doing different? We have had to shift, welcome to the O shift class. We've had to shift, we are a social media business, 100%, and 100% referral since day one. So for us in this market, as things have changed, we can't do the same old, we used to do a lot of video or just image posts. So just a picture, and a picture that might have language like under contract, or just sold, or just listed, or appraised, or things of that nature. And that is no longer working. So we've had to change, and now as we all know, video is king. People want to see things moving, but it needs to be short and concise. And so now we've adjusted, this year, video is king. We're using a lot of video, and now we can't just post that video on one platform. We've got to go out on all of them. Because some people use certain age groups use one, another age group may use another, and a third demographic may use another. So we've got to capture all of them.
And this is a little bit of nugget for you. If you're gonna start posting on social media, please use the 3 Cs, where you create the content, you put the content on platforms, then you're gonna comment on both your post and their post, and then consistency. So just remember those 3 Cs, and I think that's what has made us great doing it this year with the video. We've created the content, we're also commenting, and we're doing it consistently.
Awesome.
I haven't done a ton of.
I just kept hitting the button until eventually it did something.
Okay. Haven't done a drastic shift in my practices, but I haven't been as busy out in the field, so that's allowed me time to shift back to a ton of principles in the office. So a huge part of my business is social media, also like Brian Buffini style personal touch stuff. So doing pop-bys every few months, making sure I'm sending thank you notes, I send anniversary cards to every single one of my past buyers. I also donate $250 to their charity of choice when they refer somebody my way and that person closes. And then, yeah, like you guys said, reels are a huge shift with social media. You can't just post a picture anymore. One of them we did a few months ago, back to school. We did a huge back to school giveaway where I partnered with 2 friends who were interested. And we put a reel up, got a ton of feedback or a ton of interaction from people saying, we were like, hey, comment who your favorite teacher is or who deserves having their Amazon wish list wiped out. So then I got, touch points with all their people on their social media, also got some leads from it. And then we'll do a video here in the next week with the follow-up pictures with all the teachers with all their goodies. And it got a ton of interaction and engagement, which is good.
Awesome.
Well, the shift is here. And we are definitely shifting. We started hiring. We just put together 3 wonderful agents. That have all been with Realty One groups. They all came to us and, we got great partners. Let's see, what else are we doing, Paul?
You interviewing me?
Yes, we've really doubled down on our coaching. And training that way and getting our, people through to go to a lot of training. I think in a slow market, that's really what you should do. You shouldn't sit back and, wait for the market to turn. I think you really need to, start doubling down on the education and getting out there and being in more groups. With people and getting your name out there. So volunteer is really a really good thing to do while you're slow. So that's our show.
Maybe. I don't think we necessarily changed, but what we're doing is as Lisa mentioned, we're leaning harder into the things we've always done. All kudos to our social media or our internet masters here that do that. But I think the realization is there is still a lingering effect from the COVID years. And it's not that far in the distance, and people are still readjusting to re-engaging. So we're, for lack of a better term, we're rehumanizing. We're leaning into the personal relationships. 25 years into this thing, the one thing that has not changed, we are still a relationship-based industry. And there's no technology in the world that can substitute you as an individual making connections with the individuals that you're trying to engage. The other part of this thing too is continually upping our game, as Lisa had mentioned. You know, we're leaning more and more into our coaching, into our processes, from the perspective that we have to be better now. And this is the opportunity for everybody to become better. The normal consumer out there right now is inundated with information. They have no idea, you know, they can listen to one opinion and 30 seconds later, they're clicking on one that's a total 180 degree on it. So we have to be better, more knowledgeable, to be able to help them decipher what that means and what that looks like. And that's probably one of the primary things that we're doing right now.
Honestly, my business, in terms of the way that I approach the things that I do in business, hasn't changed. The biggest change I think that I have had to make, that I continue to drive home to my team and to my clients, quite honestly, is it's upstairs. It's what's going on in your head. It has to do with fear, which is driving everything. It's what drove the market last year as it was going down. And overcoming that fear is what's going to drive this market finding its way back to equilibrium. You know, it's a scary ass time when you look at everything combined, and nobody has any control over interest rates. You can go all around all you want, but there are only so many buyers, and you're not going to make somebody buy a house, and you're not going to make somebody sell their house. So the best thing that you can do is understand that you only have so much control to begin with. And so when times were really, really good over the last couple of years, it's really easy to sell a home, it's really easy to find buyers. It's not easy. And so when you're having conversations with your sellers, you have to be knowledgeable, to your point. You have to be knowledgeable. You have to be more knowledgeable than the dipshits on the news channels that don't know what they're talking about. And the people that are talking about things that are irrelevant to what actually drives them. And so our knowledge is what keeps us in the circle of people that are trusted. When you're just somebody with a license that just happens to be able to put a sign in somebody's yard, or just happens to be able to take a buyer around, you're just another agent. When you're somebody that knows what the hell they're talking about and can speak intelligently about the things that are actually going on out there and dispel that BS that we see out there, that's how people, that's what makes them come around to you. And that's also, by the way, what makes them stay with you when their house isn't selling. Because houses are not selling in the first weekend like they were. And So my primary base of business, other than my past clients, sphere of influence, is geographic marketing. So I'm very heavily into old school print marketing that happens every single, 2 weeks or whatever in my neighborhood, and has for the last 5-6 years. And it's a massive part of my business. And this is the time where fear is what drives people to stop doing the thing that actually got them in the first place where they are. So yeah, shelling out thousands of dollars a month when there aren't thousands of dollars a month coming in is scary. But also having yourself a base where you're prepared to kind of weather the storm is gonna get you through. But again, there's not a shift that I can say within my business other than what's in my head and the way that I do it. So I hope that makes sense.
So for me, being as new as I am, I really haven't experienced this shift as drastically as the individuals that are sitting next to me. I came into this business when it was hard, and you were lucky if you could get somebody under contract. And today I've kind of stayed with that same mentality that my head is down, I work my business, I do what I need to do, I do what works for me, and I continue just moving forward. So customer service is number one. I keep, like a lot of the things that Nate had just said, I kind of keep in my own head and do my thing and move forward, so.
Can I have one last thing?
Yeah.
Sorry, I don't wanna.
You go.
Thanks for interrupting her to ask though.
The fundamentals of what works don't change just because the market changes. The fundamentals for a reason. So what worked yesterday will work today, you just have to do it differently.
The same thing. I mean, it's the same thing, is I put service above everything else. It doesn't matter who the client is, what they're buying. I don't compare myself to what everybody else is doing, just do my job.
To add to both of that, can I wait? We, our team, part of upping our game involves, trying to find, books, to read, top our knowledge base. One right now that fits right in with what, our colleagues are talking about is, is a book called Unreasonable Hospitality. If you haven't heard of it, check it out. It's all about upping that client experience to the nth degree of what we do, and that's the differentiator right now. I don't know if anybody, does anybody know how many at the beginning of the year, how many licensed agents were in the state of Arizona? Yeah, we were knocking on 100,000. Yeah, and the metro contains roughly 60 to 70% of them. So let's just be easy and say there's 60,000 individuals out there competing for the same few deals. So what do? Are you one of the 60,000? Or are you the one that stands out to not only your client size, but to the people in general? And that as much as anything is gonna get you further down the road.
And as we move on to the next question, before we do, I would just say this to everyone in this room, because I've been here, I've sat in your seat. I wasn't always this, or, and I'm not anything special, but I would just say this. As we go through this, you're gonna hear a whole bunch of ideas and a whole bunch of different ways to do things. We're all different and we all operate different. And what works for me may not work for some, and vice versa, for my colleagues. But I would say, as you hear this, you're going to hear some nuggets that may be useful to you. And if it's a piece from us and a piece from him and a piece from the rest down the way, take them and make them yours. It doesn't have to be exact, as long as it works for you. Because if I give you a plan and it's something that you're completely uncomfortable doing, it's never going to work. So please do take notes, and I'll just, pardon my French, I'm from Leah's office, so you already know coming. I'll be honest, I pay attention, and even as I'm sitting up here, I'm learning, and bet your ass, I'm gonna take a few nuggets from my colleagues and apply it to our business.
Yeah.
I have something like that. I want to add actually to what you just said. When I started being a new agent, it was do this, do this, do this. Like you have this list of things that everybody's doing and you want to do them too. Lean into who you are and what works for you. If you're not good at social media, don't do it. If you're better at phone calls, do your calls. Find what works for you. Your individual, do your job your way.
So this actually segues very nicely into the next question,
You're welcome.
which is, yes, thank you, thank you. Take a bow, well deserved. Which is, what are your 3 top lead sources right now? Not what have they been in the past, in this market right now, what are your 3 top sources for leads?
Social media. Social media, social media. However, there are different. Right now, for new sources of business, is that what part of your question was?
It can be just right now, yeah.
Right now, so Facebook, Instagram, TikTok. We do too.
Yeah, for me, it's my past clients, my sphere as a whole, and social media, which they all kind of intertwine.
Okay.
Right, so that's, like I said, social media posts, it's follow-up notes, it's phone calls, it's texts, it's all face-to-face lunches, all those kinds of things. Like Paul said, super relational.
We would say that it's past clients is number 1. Staying in contact with our sphere, and we do have 1 lead source that we pay 4 leads, but that's the only. And we've had that since 2009.
Are you willing to share what that is?
We are premier agents with Rocket Mortgage.
Okay,
Yeah, definitely our sphere, but also our database. People are always chasing leads, that's the holy grail, it seems, of real estate. And yet, I don't know how many of you out there have a database that could have 100, 200, 300, 400, 1,000, 2,000 people in there. You would be amazed if you did nothing but just dive into your own database. Do not spend $1 and intensify your and become intentful about reaching out to everybody that's in there. They already know you. The hard part's been done. Why are you chasing things that you have to start over at square one? And sure, all of us are guilty at some point in time of neglecting the past clients. So that call looks like an apology. This is on me. I can't tell you how long it's been since I talked to you, and I apologize for that. And my intent this year is to reconnect. And if that's a simple script that you can take into that equation, you're gonna win. It's definitely a win. Because the amount of business that you are sitting on right now that you have no idea about is either they're gonna maintain, either they are currently and will remain your client, or they're gonna be somebody else's.
I'm gonna interrupt for just a second because we have a question that I think is good. What CRM are you all using? Anyone can start.
We use Brivity.
Brevity, okay.
Same. Riveting.
What did you?
He doesn't.
It's your brain.
And you can see.
We don't use one.
I use Lion Desk.
Lion Desk, okay. I actually like that a couple of you mentioned not using one because you're also focusing on different lead sources, which is what we're talking about. So continue, Nate, with your lead sources, your 3 top sources.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
I will say, so I track everything, but past clients, referrals, sphere of influence are kind of one bucket of lead sources, but you approach them slightly differently, but that still constitutes 60 to 70% of my business and is warm. And so you'll never be able to replace that relationship you have with them. And so really, other than that, my only other lead source is my community, my neighborhood that I market into. And I know it's not my current, but for anybody who knows anything that I've done, open houses are what built my entire business, and I could not say more. I'm at the point now where cold business coming in isn't what I work off of, but if I were in a different pair of shoes and I was just getting started, or I didn't have business coming in, without question, I will never, ever, ever say that there's a lead source to me that is warmer while being cold than another one, because it's all relational.
So I want to add something for Nate. He actually did an interview that is on agent. Mastermind Agent on open houses. It's one of the first podcasts I listened to. It's really good. This time. So all about open houses. So my number one lead source, I would say today is probably other agents, to be honest. I have a niche market in manufactured homes, which a lot of agents either don't know how to work, don't understand the contract, or don't want to work. So I do get quite a few referrals from agents from other brokerages. My other lead source is realtor.com, and then past clients is here. So just nurturing what I have.
Awesome.
Okay, so the next question is, what is your number one source of new business? And I think it's a very similar question what we just asked. Everybody on this panel and anybody who would be considered a top producing agent has a pretty significant database, right? They've got a lot of past clients, they draw a lot of repeat referral business from that. But what is it that what is your either number one source of true new business, people who don't know you? And maybe a better question would be, what would you recommend to those agents that are not doing, 30+ million in volume, or not doing 80, 90 deals a year, that might be doing 5 deals a year, that might be doing 10 or 15 deals a year?
Here's one that's free. Does everybody have an ROG website?
Yeah.
Let me see your hands. Those of you that do have one.
I was gonna say, just to clarify, you all have one.
Are you using it?
How many of you set it up? How about that? Okay, the hands are different. So perfect. So everyone has one. It is free. It's not our number one right now. It's not our number one source of new business, but our number one source of new business right now is TikTok. For us, it's free. It doesn't cost anything. As long as you're comfortable, or you can learn to be comfortable in front of a camera and put yourself out there, it's free. But if you don't, and we get, we just started TikTok 4 months ago. And so we've already pulled a few. We've gotten 4 off of there already.
Maybe you could do a class for us.
I would be happy to. Let's do this. If we can get a number of hands that are interested in a TikTok class or any kind of social media, and there's more than 15, I'll teach a class. Okay, I'm taking the class. Leah will set it up. You're welcome.
As part of this, can you share your names, handles, whatever, so that they can actually follow you on these different platforms?
Absolutely. So before we get off, I will do that. Before we move on. So everyone has access to a free ROG website. If you haven't set it up, you are losing out. And the biggest thing it's not just setting it up. You need to put something on there that makes you stand out, sets you apart. For example, if you speak Spanish, you are now bilingual. That should be something, a characteristic that you have on your website. Or if you specialize in manufactured homes or something like that, that should be on your website. It should be something that makes you stand out so that you're different from all of these people in this room. It is free. We get 3 to 5. We close 3 to 5 from that website every year, period, the end. And we have since day one.
And I think it's just your name .myrealtymongroup.com.
Yep.
Right. So Charles Jones .myrealtymongroup.com.
Yep. Absolutely. So you can customize that website. Jeremy did. I think Jeremy did the current one that we have. The one before I set up. It probably only takes 20 minutes.
Yep.
So it's not a lot of time. It's not a time draining. Do it. If you haven't done it, do it. You will get something. Just be sure to make yourself stand out. You need to look different. Not look, but you need to appear different or appeal to someone different than everyone else in this room. To Leah's question, what are some of our handles? I don't know. So on Facebook.
I mean, I got these.
I can't. I can't even look at you. I can't even look at you, but I'm gonna look at you. All right, so for me on Facebook, if you look up Elias Black and it's spelled ELYUS as in Sam, it'll pop up. I'm the only one. Elias Black. On Instagram, I think it's Elias ELYUS _bet on black, all one. Elias _bet on black, all connected. You'll find me on Instagram. And TikTok.
It's the same.
Jeremy's.
Mine is Jeremy _Wrangle Black on Instagram, Jeremy Wrangle on Facebook, and Jeremy _Wrangle Black on TikTok as well. if I could share with you just one tidbit of information for your social medias, be yourself. If you have a business page and a personal page and you're posting different things on both of those pages, I get it. You wanna, separate the two. People are gonna see through your business page and they wanna know you as the person. They don't care about your business, they care about you. You need to cultivate those relationships with people through your social media, if that's the route that you wanna take or use. I think it's very important to humanize yourself on those platforms. Show the mistakes. Show the ugly side of real estate. Don't make it negative, but show it in a positive light. Be like, hey, you're a real person that has to go through things just
So have just one,
like everybody else. Just have one,
just have one. page?
Cross-share content and have it be similar.
correct,
So don't think your business page has to be all business. Business in the front, party in the back.
There you go.
that's right. That's how we do it. So. And if you follow me, there's gonna be a lot, there's a lot.
And I can hear the music in the back, so those of you who are looking me up, please be careful. There is one that I posted a story this morning and there's probably an F-bomb in there. I usually don't do that, but there is one. on the story.
That's a wrong one.
Please be careful.
Oh my God.
Yeah, could you repeat the question? I feel like I'm on the shot right now.
Yeah, the question really was, what is it that you would recommend for agents that are doing 10 deals here, that want to get to 20, or 15 that want to get to 30? For agents at that current production level?
Okay, so I looked at like my database for this year, and every single person on there is somebody that I've been talking to for at least a year, if not 2 or 3. People that I felt their kids or their parents or their somebody close to them. So like Minnie said for that first question, like I'm not doing a ton of new stuff to bring a new business. I'm continuing to double down on the things that have worked for me. And yeah, they're shifting within that to do things differently, but all my closings this year have been people that are either referrals directly from my client base, past clients. So I took care of the people they love, so they know they can trust me. And then I had, you'll need to applaud after I say this, obviously. I had my first $1 million deal earlier this year. Thank you. Wow, thank you guys. And it was from a sign call a year prior, selling my friend's parents' place. They said, hey, we're walking the neighborhood, we live in the neighborhood, can we meet at the house tonight? And I was like, for sure we can, because it's an expensive house. And then we had a good rapport. There were a couple, they said, here's what our plan is. They didn't seem like murderers. So I felt good about it. And they're like, oh, can you come to our current house and check it out? Because we want to sell it. I was like, yes. I texted my wife, this is where I'm going. If I'm murdered, this is who did it. So cover all my bases. And yeah, they ended up, it turned into just kind of a lukewarm lead for a while where I text every few months and fully expected at some point for them to text back and say, hey, Charles, hope you're doing well. Thanks for reaching out. Craziest thing, we bought my friend's neighbor's house, right? It was so crazy. It happened overnight. And instead they shot me a text out of the blue saying, hey, Charles, it's go time. Let's find a house. We're comfortable in the 900 to 1.2 million range. I was like, I feel comfortable in that. So, so following up on sign calls, which I hate doing, but it's worthwhile, and just continue to like love and follow up with the people I already know. And it pays off, so.
Ditto.
Yeah.
I think it really is. Like in anything, it's just staying in contact with the people that you already have in the database. And we've had just recently, one past client that brought us 3 deals. So, I mean, it's whether they're buying or not, I think it's really trying to help people build wealth in real estate. So that's kind of our goal plan this year, is not only to help them find houses, but what about people that, are thinking about investing and getting them on board now with the thought of when it does turn, that they would be ready to take over that endeavor. So I guess that's our big thing right now.
No, it is. And to echo my colleague Nate.
Oh. Sorry.
Hey, open house. Can be a win, but there's a but. Don't just set up some signs, a card table, and go to work. We have a process for open houses that starts literally 7 days out from the open house. And it is a continuous progression rather, of numerous steps that we follow each day up until the actual day of the open house. So it's not by chance, it's not an accident. It's a plan, it's methodical, it's tactical. And that's the way to win there, but yeah, for sure, I mean, our last $1 million deal came from an open house. Scottsdale, nice home, nothing off the chart. Of course, and the buyer for that particular property. They were living in Manhattan at the time. And their mother-in-law saw the house. Of course, mother-in-laws or grandmothers are great sources because they want to have the grandkids nearby, right? But they were tired of the New York lifestyle. And she came and took herself through on a video tour, unbeknownst to us. And the next Monday, our phone rings, and it's a person. Hi, you don't know me. I live in Manhattan, but my mother-in-law came to your open house, and I'm wondering if we don't know nobody there. Would you be okay representing us and helping us purchase that home? So you want to have a reason to celebrate. Double-sided $1 million.
Wow.
I sure can know you.
I'm going to say stop counting your leads. Stop counting your leads. So if you have a packet of flower seeds that has 100 seeds in it, and you plant all 100 of your seeds and you have enough water to water them once a week, you'll end up with maybe 80 subpar flowers. Or you can take the same amount of water and water them every single day, and you'll end up with maybe, 30 amazing flowers. And those amazing flowers brought more flowers, So when I was doing open houses in the way that I work now, I don't count, that's not true. I count everything because I love my data, but I don't put my emphasis into how many I'm getting. So I would do an open house, and I am not the kind of agent that would have everybody sign in. I would have the people sign in that I wanted to sign in. Do I like them as much as they like me? Do I feel like they're gonna waste my time? So I've been in real estate for 10 years almost. I was in sales for previous 10 years before that. I've always been really good at sales by not being a salesperson. And one thing that I know how to do more than anything is weed out bullshit. I don't want to spend my time wasting my time. I don't want to spend my time chasing lead after lead after lead after lead and not going anywhere with them. I'd rather spend my energy talking to the 5 people that are actually interested, that actually want to do something. They're not just kicking tires for the sake of kicking tires. And in any market, you have to have patience. In this business, we have a very long sales cycle. And especially in this market, you have to have a lot of patience because you're dealing with people that are still trying to figure it out themselves. You might go take somebody to go see a house and feel like you wasted your time when you don't buy it and stop talking to them. But I promise you, when you stop talking to them, somebody else will start talking to them that has more patience than you do. In geographic farming, have a lot of people that will reach out. I have some people that I've met with like 4 or 5 times. Okay, where's the market now? Okay, we're not ready yet, but I think we will be. Where's the market now? Not ready yet. And a lot of times those people turn into not just future clients, but they also turn into the people that are referring me before they've ever done business with me. I still have people to this day that I would call clients that have never ever done a single deal with me because I'm the kind of guy that stays in touch with them in my different ways that I stay in touch with them. But you again become a resource. So let your leads that you have, which is really anybody who knows who you are and what you do, and you're not a skis ball, They trust you and they're gonna refer you, so let them be the ones that plant those seeds for you. Instead of, again, just trying to collect the back of 100 seeds, it's just. You need to put your emphasis into the right places, not just the leads you're getting, because you could have 1,000, I knew a guy once. I will spare everybody his name, spare him his name. All he did was collect leads, thousands and thousands and thousands of them. And the guy was doing just a pittance of actual business, he just was really good at collecting leads, or what you find as leads, they're not real leads, leads are people that actually want to do something.
We don't have anything to add. I'm sitting here listening and it's everything all the way down, the road is important. And, I guess if I were to add anything to it, create a good automated drip plan in your CRM. And if you can't touch base with that person, at least you have an email going out. But yeah, I don't have anything really to add.
One last thing. Anybody who is serious about their business. Should be reading about the things that will help them, not just coming to panels like these, which is helpful. But reading, listening to podcasts, whatever, just informing yourself. There are a couple of really good podcasts that I would recommend. But one, and I would say probably the single biggest one that has advanced my career, other than where I got started, which was the podcast that you mentioned, Mastermind Agent. But it's called I Love Marketing. And in I Love Marketing, they'll teach you all sorts of different ways that, you have to understand that every single thing you do, down to the way that you answer your phone, down to the way that you communicate with your clients, is marketing. But there's another one called Permission Marketing by Seth Godin, that's a book. And he talks about having the permission to market to them. So it made me think of it, what you were saying, having a drip system. A, have something to say, and B, have it has to have value, and that's what, it's not permission as in, yes, I've checked the box saying you have permission to send something to me. You have permission because you've established something with them. They want to open your email, you are not spam. The comments that I get all the time on marketing that send to people that they are not requesting from me, it just comes out every 2 weeks. Is that when it comes in the mail, they read. I have come into people's phones and they have a stack of stuff. And that's because they actually are getting value out of it. So whatever it is that you're sending with them to them, however it is that you're communicating to them, make sure you're giving them something that is worth the month.
Could you repeat the second one you said?
It's called Permission Marketing by Seth Godin.
So I got that one in between Mastermind Agent.
Oh, I Love Marketing.
Thank you.
And with that podcast, start from the beginning and work your way up. I'm good there.
Thank
So what
you.
you say, you're not a fan of, risk.
No, I think that leads to a good follow-up question though, so go ahead and hang on to the microphone for a minute. Give us 2 examples of good content that you're aware of, that you have shared, you have sent out, that has resonated with more than one person, like you've actually gotten really positive feedback from what that content was.
Absolutely. So every single month, and you don't have to do this in the medium that I do, which again is print marketing, but I have a section of my newsletter that's called Nerd Talk. And I would rather people know me as a nerd than a salesman. So to me, my job is not to help somebody buy or sell a house. My job is to inform them so they can make a decision whether or not to buy or sell a house. So a really good example of this would be understanding, say, what was the article that came out earlier this year? Wasn't not Charles Schwab, who was it?
Oh, yeah, where it's the
Goldman Sachs, yeah, that was
Yeah.
all gonna fall apart. So if anybody in here is not a regular subscriber to the Cromford Report, you should be. Give you a lot more information to arm yourself so you can spell the bullshit that's out there. So I fully took that on. With actual information to be able to help them understand that when you have a supply constrained market, regardless of how little demand you have, values go up. That's supply and demand. That's economics 101. You can't very easily fix a supply issue And being able to help people understand, that's one example. Another example is the difference between what happened in 2008, or what people think was 2008, which was more like 05. Understanding and being able to explain to them in a way that makes sense to them in their own market versus what actually built this market that we have. Those two they're really, really big ones, because again, fear is what's driving it.
Right.
And when you can explain the fundamentals, the foundations of what the market is, what drives not just the real estate market, but all markets, that's information that helps people understand and gives them at least a little bit of peace as they sit here with all of these massive unknowns.
To expand on what Nate said, and fellow nerd, for sure, right? This is what we were talking about earlier. We have a saying, well, I have a saying. I have a lot of sayings, I guess. Is that, no, actually not. Oh, but speaking of that, to our friends at the end of the table, was one of your handles inspired by the movie Passenger 57?
That's a no.
JJ. Okay, so, and what it is, there's a scene in it where Wesley Snipes is saying to the guy that underestimated him, always been on black. So that was that, but aside from that. So the numbers thing is, so back, what am I saying? If you don't know your numbers, you don't know your business. Bottom line, and that's across the board. And, referencing the oracles of the real estate world, one of the oft mentioned ones, to my amusement, if for lack of a better term, is the fact of these folks over at Zillow. And people continuously go there, right? Well, I saw this on Zillow. I mean, who in this room's got a phone call and said, hey, I saw this on Zillow? Okay, so check this out. This is the person or the organization you're putting faith in to give you a fair outlook. Oh, that by the way, they happen to flush $1.24 billion in losses 2 years ago. Based on all the way algorithm, right? So again, yeah, we profit report, 100%. Everybody should have that subscription. If you're save yourself a cup of coffee once a week, that'll pay for it. Especially at Starbucks, probably 1 cup of coffee, excuse me. But that is that thing. That is that thing that people are looking for from the perspective of clarity. And you being knowledgeable and being able to explain. And the side benefit is as far as anything. Do I know?
I don't know. The side benefit that you know what you're talking.
Sorry. Oh, you know. You won't. Move me around the things, Nate. No, the thing is, yeah, you know what you're talking about, but the other part of that is that if you struggle ever with pushback from a seller that says, oh, I think I need to have this, or a buyer that says, I think that's overpriced. Based on what? I mean, I always am entertained by, we talk about 100,000 licensed agents. What about the 1.4 million unlicensed agents that are out there rendering information and opinions on what their relatives or friends should be doing? So again, it's an authoritative viewpoint based on fact, not fiction, not opinion. And that's where I think that's where the rubber hits the road.
Hey, Paul, hold on to that for a second, because you said something when we were first going up this way and you talked about 7 days prior to your open houses. There's a progression of events or activities that you're doing. Would you share what some of those things are leading up to your open houses?
Sure. It starts out with, day one, it's sort of like, it's exactly, pulling as many of the stats and the information about the surrounding area that you're about to hold an open house in. And that includes things like circle prospecting. That includes things like pulling the nearest 100 owner occupied properties around that open house. It progresses through the week where we're starting to splash social media. Here, this thing is coming. The thing that people scramble about is they're dropping that ad the day before. That's too late. You know, people have plans, people have lives, so you have to put it out there and you have to put it out there repeatedly. So it's a progressive, and then as we get closer to the D-Day or to the open house day, that frequency increases a little bit. So you can start out with the soft, with the free, and then, you know, what's the latest, gentlemen, $5 or $10 for a boost? Right? Get you some eyes on that thing?
For a smaller, yeah.
Yeah, right, right. So, you know, there's that part of it. And this is the one that either you're gonna dig in and do or you don't. Our team commits to each other that the day before the open house, we all get into that neighborhood and we knock on doors. Hey, and here's the message. Not, hey, are you thinking, you know, we're having an open house, are you thinking of selling yours? No, the message is more like this. Hi, my name is Paul, I'm with House Aging Associates. Your neighbor wanted me to personally invite you to their open house that's coming up this weekend. And we'd love you to stop by, or, you know, people like to pick their neighbors. Let somebody know that is maybe in the market that would love to be your neighbor. You know, that's the progression. There's more in that, and you know, feel free to reach out, you know, with more to share, you know, something a little more detail on that. And to the, you know, I guess you gotta make the same offer. If there's more than 15 hands that go up, Leah will also schedule another one of these on open house tactics.
I think we have a couple questions.
Yeah.
Gentlemen, two behind Chris.
Eugene?
Yeah, oh, okay, so back to the Gromberg report. So the Gromberg report is a national report, isn't it?
No,
Okay,
all the data is translated from our local MLS.
Okay.
That's
okay,
that.
So it's gonna be local.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to, because, I mean, obviously our market is totally different than probably anywhere right now. I mean,
Absolutely.
I tell my clients all the time that, I mean, just look around, the businesses are coming, the people are moving here. I feel like our top four is California, Illinois, Washington, and Oregon. If you just look around, you're on the freeway, you see those license plates everywhere.
Yes, you do.
I don't know how to drive either.
It's like, the
No, yeah, and that's very relative from that perspective, because that's the thing, that's the trigger that's out there in the fabulous worldwide interweb. Is national figures, which can translate to zero
Right.
relationship to what we're undergoing in our current market.
And I think that's what's able to, I mean, to help, these buyers move along and go forward is that, we are a destination. You know, the supply is lower than it's usually been. But sellers are willing to negotiate. They're still, you know, they'll tell me, well, they say it's a seller's market. Well, you know what? Technically, it's a seller's market. But in this market, we're able to negotiate with those sellers. When a seller puts his house on the market, he thinks he's selling it that weekend, right? And then 4 weekends later, he's like, whoa, I haven't sold it and I don't have any offers. Now, when we go speak to him, we're able to, you know, get a little bit more than we would have on a different market.
The reason why Cromford is purely local is because real estate is local.
Yeah.
And not only is real estate local, real estate is hyper local. So when you look at Goldman Sachs article, it was predicated, the whole argument was predicated on interest rates. Not supply and demand.
Right.
And when you look at supply specifically in Phoenix. And across the board, but specifically in Phoenix, which is, by the way, the only market that we are really supposed to be talking about, should be talking about, have any reason to talk about. You can't make an argument without understanding, again, the fundamentals of what drives any economy, supply and demand. And if you have less supply than you do demand, you are in a seller's market. And, you know, we're looking at demand levels right now in a lot of areas, 60% normal level, very, very low. But we have 40% or 50%, or in East Valley, even less of what normal levels of supply are. So yes, people have this this notion that because you say you're in a seller's market, the house is going to sell like that. It simply means that sellers are in a slightly dominant position over buyers because there are less of them than there are buyers to buy. And so it would still take 60 or 90 days to sell a house in a seller's market. And everybody has to be willing to be able to come to the table with the spirit of negotiation. But having that information, real information, what our actual supply levels are, not just what some Yahoo and whatever other state thinks they are, We know what they are because, as you said, this information is extrapolated from our actual multiple listings. And then your job is to be able to take that information and be able to convey it and articulate it in a way that actually makes sense to the typical layperson that doesn't read stats.
And to put and Nate hit it right on the head, but to close that whole thing out, otherwise, I think him and I can nerve you to death here.
I'm for sure.
Right there with you, brother. I think that the last part of this is in terms of that negotiability point that you put out there, guess what? Crawford gives you a number for every zip code on, it's the list to sold ratio. So that going into the battle there, you know, what's your margin that you think you can push the seller around? And if the seller's agent is anywhere near knowledgeable, they're gonna say, yeah, that's what you should be expecting.
I think we have two more questions, gentlemen in the black polo, and then
Lynn,
behind you.
Lynn,
Maybe it's a question, but can you spell this report for me? I'm not aware. I'd like to become aware.
Cromford?
Cromford. Now, don't be confused, there's a free there's a free version out there available to the public. This is a page two. What's going right?
$90 a quarter or something
Yeah,
like
there you
that.
go.
Can I just see a rate, show of hands, how many folks are using Cromford, how many people subscribe to it? If you don't,
Never even heard of it.
and I, truth be told, I didn't subscribe to it until just this year. But it has helped me, it's paid for itself probably for the next 5 years already, all by itself. And I'll just give you a quick little snippet, I'm sorry, everyone's throwing me under the bus.
Mind.
Okay, so it helped, so just very simple one, here's one that can help you with an appraisal thing, the Crawford report will help you with appraisals, it's helped us with 3. And for example, we had 3 different listings in a short period of time, they were all different areas of town. But where they were, we weren't the highest price, but we were on the market the longest, at least at first, and properties were not appraising, same properties, some of them were more upgraded, we appraised 10 grand more. Simply because we used the appraisal and we have this amazing, what do you call it? Sorry? Your little appraisal.
I don't know, what do I call it? I have so many amazing things that it's hard for me to differentiate what they are sometimes. My appraisal guide,
Yeah.
my appraisal package, my appraisal cover letter.
There you go, thank you, appraisal package. Leah has an amazing appraisal package that will, it nicely, the Cromford report nicely complements, it's an amazing tool, if you're not using it. Like our distinguished colleagues shared, it is an amazing tool, you must use it. Yeah.
Not named, Paul.
I think it's Nathan.
I think we've answered a couple of these actually just out of the questions that have been answered. So do you want to go down a couple here?
You want to do it?
Yeah, let's go to motivation. Let's do the motivation.
Okay. Chip down, the motivation one. So the question is, how do you stay motivated during a market shift? So, you know, there's a lot of negativity out there, and anything online, you can't go to a social media platform, particularly those that focus on or cater to the real estate industry, without a lot of negativity. So it's more a question between your ears than anything else. What is it that you do to stay motivated and stay focused on producing?
Can we leave this up?
I would get that, yeah. I would say as far as. Can you hear me? What we do for our team is we show up every morning at 9 o'clock. We have a power up. We encourage our team members to fight the fight. And we motivate each other. We have wins. We're all over it for each other. If we have, I don't want to say losses, but I want to say learning experiences. We share those as well, so we can get better at what we're doing. And I think it's for us, it's just showing up every day, getting ready to walk out that door to talk to clients. You never know when someone's going to come in the office. We've always been pretty adamant about dressing the part. And encouraging our team members to do that as well, because if you dress the part, then you feel like you're a professional and you look like you're a professional. And when you say something that it means more to a person, when you are dressing the part and talking the part, it's all intermixed. So that's probably what keeps us the most motivated.
Go ahead, Elias, while they're arguing.
We're just here hanging out.
It's like muting somebody on a Zoom call. Power. Yeah. So my big motivation is I'm the primary provider for my family. I have a wife and 2 young kids, and I used to be a high school Spanish teacher. I loved it, and I left that to join real estate. I didn't know a thing about real estate, but I knew it could provide us a better life. And 8 years later, that hasn't changed. And so it's like, we're in the house we want to be at, our girls are thriving, my wife's doesn't have to work, thankfully, she does, but she's able to do what she loves. So it's like, I don't have the option to just give up. I did look at last fall, I was like, I don't know, my friend's a firefighter, maybe that works. Like it's that easy, you know, and I'm like, no, the trauma's a little high for me, like real estate's hard, but not that hard. So that's my motivation daily. I feel like I have good balance, like I could work harder, work more and make more money, but then my home life would suffer, my personal health would suffer, things like that, so. And then in terms of I have a team as well of 3 agents, one of them's brand new, so. I'm motivated to help them hopefully do the same thing that I was able to do 8 years ago, or left my profession to do something. I didn't make hardly anything as a teacher, but you make 0 in real estate if you don't have commission, so. Helping them, hopefully, like the new guy we have on our team has a family of 4 and he's only 28. Well, then your efficiency right there, yeah. So he has a full-time job, but he'd like to eventually go full-time in real estate, so he's hungry, and it's like I see a lot of myself in him, so being able to help him is really a huge motivator as well.
Awesome.
I've decided I don't need a mic. As my team will tell you, my door's closed, they can still hear me down the hall, this can be
No, it's terrible.
A lonely profession.
Yes.
We get beat up, but we get back up and we keep going ahead. And sometimes you just need somebody to share that with, good or bad. Not saying everybody's designed and wants to be part of a team, but find a colleague, find a buddy, buddy up. Help each other out on the bad days as well as celebrate with somebody on the good days, because as much as our family and our partners are supportive of what they do, they don't know what we do. They don't understand what we do. And so it's hard for them to have empathy for the tough times that we go through. So this is not meant to freak you out or scare you, but I gotta tell you, my friends, I don't know anybody on the panel here, and Rochelle hit on it. You gotta put your head down, you gotta go to work. And this is not ending tomorrow or next year, maybe. So we're in this for a while, but that's okay. Together we can conquer it.
So to add a little bit to what you said, keeping your head down. For me, I personally don't watch the news. It depresses me. So a lot of times what I learn that's going on comes from Facebook, from friends and family. So kind of along those lines, keeping my head down, just doing my job. I mean, it just comes naturally when you have the right mindset. And then what keeps me motivated, there's a few things. For me, I do have a small team that started in January. I have 2 agents that are brand new, one of them from this round. And got a couple more coming on board. So for me, seeing other people thrive in this environment, helping other people, gives me the greatest joy. Whether it is a client or a team member, handing those keys over to somebody that just bought a $70,000 manufactured home because that's what they can afford. That motivates me. It fills me with so much joy just to be able to give to other people. The other thing that motivates me is my family. Their happiness and the things that I'm able to do for them. It's my job.
No, okay.
Well. I have one of those, I got one of these on, so I have a motivation. Snapchat.
Aww.
Seriously,
Not secret.
all downhill.
How much was that lamp?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Who wants that?
Ask me about the lamp. Chris will tell you about the lamp. That's a whole other story. Another day. I think the first thing for me, I would say, I try to avoid a scarcity mindset. So we're going through tough times. I'm highly confident. Everyone sitting at this table, we all feel it. You feel it. Leah feels it. We all feel it. However, we still, someone, I don't remember, one of you said a little bit ago, one of my colleagues said, hey, we still need to celebrate our partners or our colleagues' wins. And so let me give you an example. Jeremy and I have a business partner. She's also Maisha Fair. She's also out of Leah's office in Goodyear. Maisha Fair is we usually track, we're almost within 100,000 or two. We're usually every year, we have the same metrics for the most part. There are days when Maisha is up and my phone's not ringing, nothing's happening. And in the beginning, I would be like, shit, am I doing something wrong? What do I need to do better? Things of that nature. But I learned, and it was she who taught me, you need to avoid the scarcity mindset. And so when that happens, when we're down, celebrate your colleagues. Do exactly what you heard up here. Celebrate your partners or your colleagues' wins. And then calibrate. Doesn't mean you have to change your whole business, but slightly adjust. The same way when you meet someone who talks loud like I do versus meeting someone who is kind of mousy or timid, you have to adjust sometimes how you address or confront folks. And so the same thing, calibrate your business according to what is happening.
And a little bit of. We all go through this, right? Like it's a difficult industry to be in currently at this moment. Stop holding everything close to your chest. Whether that's information, knowledge, if you're going through something, reach out to another agent because only they know what you're going through. Your family's not going to know, your friends aren't going to know. People who are in the industry who have gone through years of ups and downs are going to be your best source. So if you're struggling mentally in this industry, please, I encourage you to reach out to other agents and just have a conversation about it because it is important. It'll help you refocus and rejuvenate your own business.
Bring us home, Nate.
So we were flying really, really high. And kind of good, it seemed like it was just gonna keep going, and then the plane crashed in the middle of the forest, but nobody died, right? This wasn't 2008, we didn't fall into this deep, deep, dark recession. We're just lost in the forest. But people die in the forest not because they're hungry and they're starving and they can't get out, they're dying because they sit there and they feel sorry for themselves. They feel like they did something wrong, they feel like they're not doing enough. And so the big question of motivation, you have to think about it kind of in the terms of survival. People survive by doing things. You don't just sit there and wait for the plane to come and rescue you. You get up, you move, put a plan together, you search, you find yourself a way to be fed every day, every day, every day. And that's how you get your way out of the woods. So everything that we're talking about up here, we're just doing what we've been doing. We don't know any more than you do how the hell we're going to get out of this. We're just going to keep doing it. But when you sit there and just die, you just choose to die because, oh, it's tough and it's hard and, the interest rates and whatever. There have been markets way, way harder than anything that we're experiencing right now. There are agents that have been around for decades that have been through the highs and the lows. And you don't get through it by feeling sorry for yourself. So the motivation comes from recognizing that some days are gonna suck ass and some days are not. You're gonna get a win and you're gonna feel good when you do hand somebody keys. Also don't feel like you're too good to take something. You know, take what you need to take. If it puts food on the table for you and your family, awesome, that's gonna get you to the next step. I remember, and I still feel this way almost 10 years in. It's like, oh, cool, I made it another month. Oh, cool, I made it another month. And I'm unemployed every single time I don't have it. So if I could just make it another month, that just gets me one more day further. But stop trying to find some outside motivation. You have to find it within yourself and just get through it and stop feeling sorry for yourself.
There's an acronym for that. Do you know what my favorite acronym is? Does anybody know what FITFO stands for? Oh, who's willing to shout it out? Samantha, give it to us. So when you're not sure what to do, you're your own boss. This is a lonely industry, as we've said. You've got a FITFO.
Or the most unemployable bunch there. You really have to hone yourself.
All right, we've got a few extra minutes for questions. So Sam, you had your hands up.
Well, I'm curious on what, like, your top three podcasts and books are that you read for real estate and renovation or.
Let's do well, for those of you who do it, top podcast and or top book, just go down we'll start with Nate because he knows them off the top of his head. Everybody else can think on it in a minute.
I already gave them, yeah, but number one, above anything else, actually would be Mastermind Agent. Because you're listening to agents all over the country, there are all kinds of markets. And these are people who've actually done it, people who are not just theorizing, they really have done it. So you can listen to interviews endlessly, hours and hours and hours.
So mine is actually not podcasts and books. I'm actually a coaching client for. Coaching.
Yeah.
Okay. I actually coach weekly with Tom Kelly, their organization, and for me, the plethora of information that's provided for us and things that you can jump into and learn. Are just as, in my opinion, just as good as the podcast because they're always available too. Comments all the kind of same types of topics, and then also the one that Nate has brought up as well. I listen to those constantly, my first year, so.
The book, is, The Exceptional Presenter. Think about it. So what we do, right? We present what our value proposition is. We present our knowledge of the market. We present ourselves as high-level functioning professionals. The better we are at presenting that and getting that message across, more business we'll have.
I have two little kids who never stop talking, and I work in an industry that involves people, so I don't listen to podcasts, and the books I read are unrelated to work.
Those are the best ones. I hear you.
Because we are social media based, we have to evolve before everyone else does. So we pay close attention to Gary Vaynerchuk, also called Gary V.
Can you repeat that?
I hope you like.
Gary B.
Gary V. Like on Instagram, if you just Google Gary and then V-E, Victor, last name Victor, Echo, it'll come up. That's not his last name. His last name is Vaynerchuk. I cannot spell it. But if you Google Gary V, V is in Victor, E is in Echo, E is in Echo, it will come up.
That's why you have those samples.
He does, yes, thank you for that. Do prepare yourself, he is extremely unfiltered, and if you think anyone up here at this table or this young lady in the polka dots, just be prepared, but his information is amazing. And I wish I would have paid attention to him long before I got into real estate. We'd be doing a lot better than we are.
For agents who aren't mine, but are interested in reading and joining a book club, we actually meet once a month at the Goodyear office. Tomorrow we are doing the 5 a.m. club, which is, unless you're a super speed reader, it's going to be tough for you to do that in one day because it's about 300 pages long. But we meet the second Thursday of every single month at 10 a.m. and we have a new book every month that we're discussing. So anyone is welcome to join us. The next book is the 5 a.m. club.
No. After that.
We haven't decided yet. We'll decide tomorrow.
We see with a show of hands, just out of curiosity, how many are from the Goodyear office?
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah.
How many fans?
Two.
Side note,
We do like to win.
if we do put a social media class together, I do have a disclaimer. I do need you, Jeremy and I will teach it if this comes together. We'd be honored to teach it. We do have a disclaimer though, however, if you are interested in coming to this class, we do need you to at least have a Facebook, an Instagram, or a TikTok, preferably all three. And you must at least know how to post a picture. That's it. Doesn't have to say anything. It just be a picture of you, it could be a picture of your house or your car. I don't really care. You just need to know how to grab a picture from your device and post it to the social media platform. If you can do that, we can teach you the rest.
All right,
Hold
two
on,
more questions.
Lisa has something to say.
Oh.
She's been patiently waiting.
Lisa.
Brian Gubernick, and when it comes to podcast, there's no days off. That's an excellent. He is an amazing man, and we're in a mastermind with him, and he's just phenomenal. And also, we do, I would like Rochelle, we also coach and we're with Ben Kinney. And Debbie the girl are coach with, so we get a lot of information from them every day. It's wonderful.
Excellent, excellent. I had a few that I haven't seen yet, so Jenna.
So, sorry. I guess this might be a Jeremy question, but when you guys boost posts, so Instagram and Facebook have a special like housing thing that you have to choose when you're boosting or creating an ad. Do you have a way around that? Because
No, it does suck. So we got away from boosting posts for that reason. So like we tried it at the very beginning and it just was causing more stress and issues for us. So we organically post like all the time. So unfortunately, we don't reach a large amount of people not doing it that way, but or doing it that way. But it's been successful for us. So I mean, you just gotta push it out. The great thing about your sphere is don't be afraid to ask them to share it.
Yeah.
It is free. It's not requiring anything from them. That's probably one of the greatest features, if you could utilize or if you could really implement that into your business, is have them share your post already.
I guess like I asked that because I'm not only a new agent, but I'm new to Arizona completely. So I've only been here a little bit over a year. So my sphere is not here. So I guess I'm trying to reach,
Build it.
you know, Arizona area. No, I get that, but
So an idea, and you
Yeah.
maybe have already thought of this, not trying to be patronizing in any way. I have a friend, a former client and friend, they moved to Virginia, so he's become a realtor, but his entire sphere is here in Phoenix. So he and I have partnered, I mean, we're just gonna referral agents. You know, behind the scenes, I'm just a referral agent for him, but we put out a big social media thing of like, hey, we've expanded, he did it, I did it. And it's like, he's already had multiple, because I'm like, dude, if you were here, you'd be on my team and you'd have like 500 people, you know. So now they know to call him first, and he sends it my way, and then I'll give him a bigger referral percentage. So he's still getting business in his new spot from people back home, and I'm benefiting, so that may be an idea that you can capitalize on.
That was actually something I was a little surprised, maybe not surprised, that none of you had referenced was actually referrals. If you are not building a referral network, you should be. One of our most active agents, younger, very young out of our office, it's almost entirely referral based. And every time I'm on some group on Facebook, his name is being mentioned by somebody. I don't even know how he's met all of these people over such a short period of time.
Is he here?
He's not here this morning, no. So I strongly recommend, whether it's attending events like One Summit, whether it's joining for things like this, whether it's reaching out and individually forming relationships, there are tens of thousands of Realty One Group agents, and they don't even have to be with Realty One Group for you to build those relationships. Start finding people in every state that you can rely on to do business the way you do.
Okay, I'm gonna give you another nugget. Jeremy and I go to One Summit every year. And I'm sorry, who was not here? He's gonna be upset with me, but yeah.
You go all out.
We do go all out. So for example, last year or this year, March, whenever it was, we had gold shoes that lit up. We had cakes, we had crowns, like we went over the top, just ridiculous. Into the future, we drank the culture Kool-Aid. But every year, in addition to what we learned at One Summit, or the nuggets that we take away from one summit and apply into our own business. The beauty of it is we, in meeting other agents from all across the world or the globe, we meet other agents and we walk away with at least 3 referrals every single year, period, the end. And if it's not an instant referral right that minute, somebody remembers us. Sometimes they don't remember our names. Sometimes even though they scan the QR code, they didn't save our Facebook or Instagram page, but they remember this Fireball and they reach out to her to get to us, or some other way. So just another nugget, one summit, referrals.
And Kate's.
Okay.
Capes and crowns.
Jenna, just to go back to your question, it might help to post, consistently by tagging the city multiple times in a week.
Yeah, so my niche is like, outdoorsy and food family, like I really try to focus on a niche and I tag all of those people. I mean, I come from a marketing business, so it's kind of like a. You know, like a silly question to ask, but I guess. I don't know, it's a different bear and different beast and
Yeah,
it's easier to post for somebody else than it is to post for yourself, so, you know.
yeah.
Oh, I can help you get over that.
Follow me.
Matt, you've been so patient. It is.
So this morning, I went to a presentation at 7:30 on AI. And nobody's mentioned AI. I have a question for all of you, but also for Realty Wanderers as a whole, nationwide, worldwide. Because I'm very proud to be part of Realty Wanderers. A couple of facts they mentioned this morning. In the US, there's 167 million people in the US workforce. 72 million jobs will be affected by AI, and that's 42% of the workforce. So, artificial intelligence. So what have you done or doing, and what is Realty One going to do to have forward thinking and bring AI into this so we don't lose our jobs?
Let me answer the Realty Lumber side, first. So a couple of weeks ago, we had Rock Title. Where are our Rock Title people? Are they still here? There they are, back there, right over here. So Art was one of them, and Amy Hollister last time, right? Amy Hollister, they came into the Glendale office and they did about a 2-hour class on AI and what agents can do to you know, use AI to grow their business. And I think part of that had to do with Canada too, if I'm not mistaken. There were multiple classes going on that day. So the answer is talk with your favorite Rock Title representative and they've got classes that they come out to the offices. I know they do in Glendale and as they do everywhere else. And they do a couple different AI classes.
But is anything being done by more?
Not that I'm aware of at the moment. Do you know anything, Leah? Have you heard anything?
The answer to that is yes, I'm sure there is, and we'll be made aware of it at some point. There's, right now, it's not about overcoming AI. It's about configuring AI and adapting with it to better do our business. So we're not looking at it from a, hey, it's going to take over. We've been threatened about this for how long now, guys? Like for any of us who have been in this business for a minute, how long have we heard that realtors are going to fall by the wayside, right? And it goes back to the relationship component because AI is never going to take that away. AI is never going to be able to conduct surgery the way a surgeon will, but can it improve the way that they're conducting surgery? Absolutely. Now there's going to be technology and tools and platforms and things that now, instead of having this wide of a margin for error, it's only going to be this wide of a margin for error. And I think that we are going to be operating very similarly. There's an old phrase that's been around a long time. It's that technology will never surpass realtors, meaning that it won't take over our business. However, agents who are using that technology will surpass those who are not. So any classes that you can take on AI-based algorithms, training, marketing, assistance overall, for some of you, I'm like, this should be a godsend. I've read some of the crap that you put out. AI is going to do a way better job than what you've done. But that's what you're going to have to learn how to utilize it.
Agree 100%, Leah, and to add to that, this is a relationship business. We're all well aware of that. However, or I should say like that, let me just share an experience. I went to Rally's, Jeremy and I went to a Rally's drive-through. You guys know what that is? Rally's. Rally's Burgers. We went to that a few days ago. if you haven't been there, they're already implementing or employing AI in their drive-through. And here's where there you go, Carl's Jr. And so here's where the relationship falters with AI. So for example, you go up and place your order, but like I'm special, I want my burger and I want it this way and I want to add this, but take this off and all that. AI can't do
This
that.
isn't Burger King, sir.
It can do number one with a Coke and add with a large fry, but when we start making changes to customize it, can't do it. So again, not to say that can't be edited or augmented over time. I'm sure they will learn with that, but this is a relationship business, and like Leah said, AI will never take the place of human interaction.
How's your price?
Very organization. I actually attended their summit in Dallas about a month and a half ago. And there is somebody that's a coach within Tom Ferry. I highly recommend everybody look him up. His name is Jason Pantana. He teaches AI and he did a deep dive into it for us. If you want a list, I can give you a list of all the different AI companies. There are companies that you can literally stand, you sit, do a video and your head is down and it will bring your face up and your eyes looking right at the camera. There's a lot of different options within AI, just not ChatGPT, which is a phenomenal one you can use. I do write all of my listing, everything I do with listings, like literally everything I do with listings is done through ChatGPT. It's very worth using. But there's a ton of resources. Jason Pantana is really, really good as a resource.
I want to add something.
You want to go?
Embrace it, don't be afraid of it,
Yeah.
because it's really, it's so interesting to see what it can do for you. So I would say, share as much information as you possibly can and just embrace it, don't be afraid.
Yeah, it's a perfect piggyback. I'm just gonna say, like, I said at the beginning, fear is what's driving so many parts of this market. Fear is also what caused people to think that Open Door and Offerpad were gonna take over the entire real estate market, and they consistently.
Don't forget to.
And if you're not gonna embrace it, that's fine. I don't live in the world of AI, I don't think I ever will. But I'm also not afraid of it, because, you know, as Leah said, you'll never ever replace what it means to be a human. Doesn't matter what you do, you'll never be replaced by a robot. As long as this market keeps going that direction, you know, where human beings and the relationship matters. But if it does go the other direction, not a goddamn thing you can do about it.
Right.
There's just nothing you can do about it. So stop fearing these things you have no control over. And so, you know, I hear a lot of people talk about the things that they fear. I've been hearing it since the very, very beginning of all of the different things that we're gonna take away our job. And it's just, you know what, if it happens, but there's nothing we can do to control it. So just do what you do every day and do it well, and then embrace which one embrace.
To add on to what Nate said, from a historical perspective, through the decades and a half, was it? So when I started, okay, guys, when I started when we started our real estate careers, okay, there was no internet. Dating myself, I realize that, but there was no internet. I have seen dozens and dozens and dozens of agents fail in the pursuit of technology. Agents are the classic shiny object community. They are the classic magic bullet community. AI, yeah, I get it. I use it. It's a tool. Doesn't replace anything that I do. And I find it interesting that you go to a seminar or whatever on AI, and they're talking about the 48% of the workforce that's going away. Why don't they talk about the 48% new opportunities that are going to be created? There's always a positive spin on anything that we talk about. But at the end of the day, there's nothing out there. And there is, and I've chased them over the years, you know, like, you know, we used to have, I don't know how many people are aware of something called listing books. There was a point in time.
It was that thick.
They were that thick. They were printed on the crappiest paper, phone book. Anybody here know what a phone book is?
Or a fax machine.
Yeah, right. That was on the crappiest paper. It had a one-page description of the property and the most god-awful postage stamp sized photo of the property. That's how we did real estate. Okay,
Yeah.
sing it,
Yeah,
Yeah.
hold on. Bottom line is this, there's always going to be a threat, a perceived threat that does not materialize at the end of the day. And at the end of the day, I think the danger with all of this technology is that agents want to replace the things that we do that are just plain hard. That's why they call it work. It's not fun. AI cannot replace those things. You have to still do them. And again, a tool, great. A replacement, no.
I think that's a good way to end before they kick us out.
Yeah.
So let's give a big round of applause to our panelists. And I've been offered up to host about 17 different classes, so we'll follow up, we'll figure it all out. All right, with that, thank you everybody for attending. Thanks again to our panelists. Have a great day.